it's a dream come true. I'm on top of the world, and you know, I'm just so happy right now. I made this big step in pole vaulting for myself, and so I don't really think of it as the heights, just more improving myself.
Armand "Mondo" Duplantis is an American-born Swedish pole vaulter. Heir to the throne of his elite pole vaulting father, Greg Duplantis, it didn't come as a surprise Mondo started vaulting at a very young age, and it soon became obvious that the family had perhaps their best athletic prodigy yet. At age 7, he broke the world record for that age, then he'd do that from ages 8 to 13, breaking a total of 8 world records, with a couple more being repeated at certain ages. Word got across quickly, as his name would begin to spread around pole vaulting forums, indicating that the kid had a bright future ahead of him. After all, it was unheard of for a 10-year-old to be jumping nearly 3 feet over his age, and while his progress briefly halted for the next couple years, his high school endeavors steered him back in the direction of this exponential progress pole vaulting fans couldn't get enough of. Mondo's freshman high school year was very dominant from the start, as he had won the Louisiana State Championships meet indoors, along with a Millrose Games win. His outdoor season was extremely consistent too, crushing the state meet again, and securing a 3rd place at New Balance Nationals. He would take his talents internationally at the World Youth Championships, and won with a 2-centimeter personal best of 5.3 meters. Sophomore year, he had now become the indoor national champion, and increased his mark 19 more centimeters up to 549 for the new national high school indoor record. He tied this mark outdoor season, and finished 3rd at the IAAF World Under-20 Championships. If you thought he was already making waves in the high school athletic scene, his junior year was by far his most explosive one, and put him on the map across the entire world. Opening his indoor season with 561, Mondo only cleared below this mark once before going straight into the 5.7s, but then at New Balance Nationals, he wasn't returning to just win it, but to rather pull this off.
It's Mondo time! 19-1!
Mondo had shattered his old high school record and became the first high schooler to clear 19 feet. Initially, this jump had circulated within just the track and field community alone, but a month later, it was reposted to Facebook where it would accumulate over 40 million views. Without hesitation, Mondo would use this momentum to his liking, and upped his mark by 8 more centimeters at the Texas Relays for 5.9 meters, now putting him in the top 50 worldwide all-time list. He truly was unstoppable at this point, and with a worldwide mark on the front page of the leaderboards, he took the opportunity to test his true potential at meets under the Diamond League tag, a series of meets where lots of professionals compete in the outdoor season. He placed 4th at the Pre-Classic and 7th in Lausanne. He also won his first under-20 championships, but most impressively, he qualified for the finals at the World Championships in London. Even though he placed 9th with a mark he wasn't satisfied with, seeing a kid on this stage was otherworldly to process. And with 1 more year to go, the question at this point was, how far could he raise the bar as a high schooler, and what were his future plans afterwards? After signing with Louisiana State in November 2017, Mondo's indoor season senior year was a bit more low-key than previous ones, but he came out swinging as soon as the spring came along. Opening up with 590, he was already eyeing up the legendary 6-meter barrier, and you could tell he was prepping for such a height when he was putting up mid-10s in the 100-meter, indicating that he was trying to optimize his run-up for such a height. He took 2nd at the Pre-Classic, but better yet, won his first Diamond League event in Stockholm over some of the best pole vaulters in the world, which were Sam Kendricks from the US and Piotr Lisek from Poland. Mondo's senior year was anything but a traditional high school season, consistently placing no lower than 3rd place at almost every meet he entered, was something even the best pole vaulters in the world could barely emulate. As Mondo's outdoor season started cementing him as a worldwide threat, he was still chasing after that 6-meter jump he had come fairly close to on a number of occasions. In one of his last meets of the year at the European Championships, Mondo had some pretty fierce competition. Despite his incredible consistency clearing 580, 580 585 and 590 right away, there were still 3 other men contesting him with no signs of slowing down. The best way for Mondo to stay in gold medal contention was to clear 595, aka a new world under 20 record. He's able to get over, but Morganov and Lisek stay on his tail to pressure Mondo into untouched territory. He hasn't used too much energy given he's cleared almost every height on his first try, and as he lines up for 6 meters, here's how easy he really makes it look.
Now going for that magical barrier of 6 meters. And he clears it! Absolutely ecstatic though, he cannot believe it. He's just bettered his world record. And there is Armand Duplantis at 6:05, has already bettered the world under 20 record. And oh my God, he goes clear! 6 meters and 5 centimeters. He's just 18 years of age. He can't believe it himself. I can't believe it.
Armand Duplantis had not only cleared 595 or 6 meters, but 6.05 meters for a 12 centimeter PB and was now tied with the second highest outdoor mark in history. To put into context how absurd this jump is for a kid his age, imagine a high schooler running 3:43 in the mile, or a 9:79 in the 100, or long jumping 8.65 meters. That's how good he is at the moment. Mondo's following meet was his lowest placement in a while, but the fact that a 7th place finish at a Diamond League meet is considered a low for him really put into perspective what he was going to offer in the collegiate world. Would he become an 8-time NCAA champion, dominating the indoor and outdoor seasons? Would he fizzle out and struggle to adapt? Or did Mondo have an entirely different plan in his mind altogether? Mondo's freshman year was as dominant as you'd hope it to be. He won every collegiate meet he entered indoor to win his first national title along the way, and he looked very confident in the outdoor season already, clearing 594 by his second meet. However, he actually faced a formidable opponent at NCAAs for outdoor season, as South Dakota's Chris Nilsson had his best day ever clearing 595, and Mondo had already passed on the height, rendering him the silver medalist. Regardless, a second place finish as a freshman was fantastic, but Mondo felt confident enough to quickly move on from the collegiate world as he signed a contract with Puma just a week after nationals. Beginning his professional career at the early age of 19, Mondo was ready to embark on the journey to becoming the best pole vaulter to ever live. And for his first year as a pro, he had pretty stellar placements. But what stood out the most by far was his performances at the 2019 World Championships, where he would almost become a world champion.
What Duplantis has got must clear to stay in the hunt for gold. Oh, it's unbelievable. It is absolutely incredible.
Through, and it was third attempt makes by both of these guys when it counted the most. And that's what you love to see in the pole vault, is guys coming through in the clutch time and time again.
Mondo had placed second at Worlds, losing to Sam Kendricks on the countback rule, a rule that breaks up ties and goes back to previous clearances to determine the winner. The world champion potential was there, and with 2020 on the rise, he would be approaching a potential Olympic title on the way too. If you've been paying attention, you might notice that a lot of Mondo's personal bests and records have traditionally been done outdoors, as his indoor seasons normally serve as a way to gear up for outdoor. However, for his indoor debut, he attempted to go for the new world record, and while he wasn't able to do so there, he immediately tried again 4 days later at the Copernicus Cup, and on his second attempt, he would pull this off.
Ruszy za chwilę Mondo i kto wie, pięknie płynie po tym rozbiegu, w górę Mondo, jest rekord świata w Toruniu, ależ to był skok, ależ to była próba, dwa palce w górę i przefrunął Armand Duplantis, rekordzistą świata tu w Toruniu, dzisiaj też bardzo wysoko skakał, no ale tak wysoko.
Armand Duplantis withheld the highest pole vault mark in the world with a clearance of 6.17 meters on February 8th, 2020, and another 12 centimeter personal best on top of that. He had in a sense cracked the code in this event, and in case you thought this jump was a fluke, he cleared 6.18 the very next week.
Här kommer Duplantis på världsrekordhöjden 6.18 uppåt! Ja! Det är ett nytt världsrekord! Det är 6.18! Makalösa Mondo! Makalösa Mondo! Han mäktar med!
His completely unexpected historical breakthroughs sent a message to athletes that if you're not capable of clearing at least over 6 meters, you're most likely competing for second place. Unfortunately for Mondo, the Olympics were postponed to 2021, but everything else was still on the board, and not only did Mondo start putting up some wins now, he went on perhaps the single greatest streak of performances in pole vaulting history.
Oh, goes clear, as cool as a cucumber.
Oh, he's done it! Well, there you go. 6 meters at the third attempt. Nicely done. He is a world champion, and who knows? Meter 7, Armand Duplantis. Sensational! A clearance of 6 meters and 7.
Oh yes! Oh, that is the highest vaulted entry outdoors. I keep on churning, like a fire, I keep on burning. Dance around in a place, and then my DJ ride the pace.
Winning 11 outdoor events in a row, with numerous marks over 6 meters, it was obvious Mondo was the best pole vaulter in the world right now. Even when some athletes were on their A game, Mondo would just throw the bar up a few more centimeters to throw them into a game of PB or bust. He had also broken the outdoor world record with a 6:15 jump, making him the current holder of indoor and outdoor records now. The Olympics were still a full year away, so it was back to the cutting board to make sure he maintained the consistency he displayed in 2020 to confidently take home the gold medal for Sweden. While his indoor season wasn't quite as lively as his previous one, Mondo was still clearing over 6 meters at nearly every meet he entered, with 586 being the only exception. Given there's only a handful of athletes who have vaulted 6 meters in their life, it was already a scary introduction into 2021 spring season now that this height was a borderline casual task. Aside from a 5:55 second place at Gateshead, more 6+ meter first places were warming Mondo up for the Olympic Games, and he would get the chance to have a proper hurrah against Kendricks, Lisek, defending champion Thiago Baz, and others that were capable of clearing in the low 6s on the right day. This year's Olympics were different. One of the major charms of field events is the crowd's involvement. The clapping, the cheering, the all eyes on me pressure is a magical aura athletes thrive in. But due to restrictions, the entire stadium was just about empty aside from coaches, staff, and a few others. Despite this drastic environment change, Mondo saw no issue adapting, as his 5:55 opener was perhaps the most comically high clearance over that height ever. He passed on 5:70 and waited about an hour until he was up for 5:80. Which again, he made easy work of. Passing on 5:87, he watched Baz and Nilsson clear the bar and opted for 5:92. Nailing it first try with great clearance yet again, he sets himself up for a gold medal already after just 3 jumps. With Baz failing to get by, the only other man left was Mondo's brief collegiate rival, Chris Nilsson, the man who beat him at NCAAs. In a deja vu-like scenario, he cleared 5:92 and immediately got 5:97 afterwards for a new personal best. There was a small chance now that Mondo could struggle at this height, but given how few jumps he'd taken the entire competition, it was no surprise he ended up cruising right over. The bar had now risen to 6:02, and yet again, Mondo clears it first try. Nilsson is quite fatigued from all of his previous jumps, and after 3 failed attempts, your new Olympic champion goes to the Swedish prodigy for his Olympic debut.
He comes up short, and there it is. Armand Duplantis of Sweden, just 21 years of age, becomes Olympic champion.
At the age of 21, he is the Olympic champion. The question, how many more?
The casual nature of Mondo's gold medal in Tokyo really started to pry the minds of many on how far he could take the pole vault. 620 was certainly in the cards, but he first wanted to go for 619 since, well, you get a pretty good bag each time you make the record, so why not take it a centimeter at a time? Plus, it's generally good for the spectators too, because who wouldn't want to see more records? Mondo seemed to be struggling at 619, however, as he had failed it multiple times in 2020 and 2021, and so far once in indoor 2022. The meet after this, it was looking like another bust after 2 failed attempts, but it finally clicked at the last second on March 7th, 2022.
Ladies and gentlemen.
To replicate the event of getting 2 back-to-back records at this level was inexplicably awe-inspiring to witness. The pain of failing 619 over and over again, finally getting it 2 years later, and immediately getting 620 after, was the ultimate clarity Mondo needed to get the world watching him again. Speaking of the world level, the World Championship also got postponed and did not occur in 2021, but not only did it come back for 2022, it would take place in the States with a massive crowd ready to go absolutely bonkers for Mondo. This meet went pretty similar to Mondo's Olympic experience, clears his first few jumps easily, lets the rest of the competition do their thing, and is eventually able to weed out Chris Nilsson as the last ones to hang with him at 594, solidifying his world championship status in quick successions. He got 6 meters, then 606 under his belt for a new championship record. 621 then was finally loaded up, and almost no one wanted to sit down until he had it. He's a little hesitant on the first attempt, but takes about 10 minutes to take another crack at it. The last thing he wants is the pressure of being on his final jump, and this was a crowd he wanted to please more than anything he had experienced before. 6.21 meters by Armand Duplantis at the World Championship Games was the most electrifying moment to occur in track and field, not just for 2022, but is one of the greatest feats achieved in the sport's history. Thanks to the brilliant technology provided by World Athletics, you can perfectly see just how much clearance he had over the bar and how much is actually left in the tank for future records. Mondo almost went on to have another entirely undefeated year with 1 second place at Brussels, cementing another phenomenal year for the Swede to show why he's the prince of the pole vault right now, and how frankly no one's going to beat him anytime soon. Overall, Armand Duplantis is a complete anomaly in the track and field world, breaking almost every possible age record, junior record, and then going on to set 5 separate world records in just the span of 2 years is a level of athleticism that is almost impossible to rival. Some are already calling Mondo the best pole vaulter of all time, and I think that can certainly hold true without question if he continues to win international titles like Sergei Bubka did in the 80s and 90s. He's also well on his way to even becoming one of the greats in general like Usain Bolt or John Zelezny in terms of raw performances, but only time will tell if Mondo can truly deliver, and the world will be more than delighted to witness what will hopefully be 10 more years of pure, unfiltered, vaulting excellence. This has been the rise of Armand Duplantis, and thanks for watching. Thank you to all my patrons for supporting the channel, and if you want to support the channel for more track and field content like this, hey, come on over and become a patron, drop a sub, and peep the Instagram too. I'll see you on whatever video I upload next, and take care.
I wanted to wait, but you know, I made 601 a little too easy. I was like, shit. I was like, I can't wait. I'm sorry, Bruno. I can't do it.
in Clermont. I just have to do it right now. I always wanted to jump like Renault. I wanted to jump as high as Renault. So, you know, him calling me after the meet is it's an amazing feeling, and you know, the friendship that we've built is, it's really cool. Especially, you know, younger Mondo would be thrilled to hear that.